get started. Manager Bud Black. Danielle, why don't you start us out?
Hey, buddy. What do you think has been the biggest difference of Austin Gomber from his first 7 starts to his last 7 starts?
Well, there's a number of things, but a couple things come to mind right off the top of my head. First of all, he's settled in. He's become more comfortable, and he's not, overly trying to impress all of us. I think early on, once he got settled into spring training and once we started the regular season, I think he tried too hard. That first start against the Dodgers, that was out of character from what we saw in spring training, emotionally. And now I think that he's got it together with a calmness and poise and competitiveness on the mental side, which is awesome. And I think on the pitching side, there's a little tweak with his delivery within the first couple starts. He can maybe expand on that, but it was just something really simple with his initial step once he started his windup. And I think the improved changeup and the use of the changeup. I think the changeup was always in there, but now it's frequent. He's throwing it with great confidence. It's got, a great separation of velocity from his fastball. So I think it makes his fastball better. And I think the curve and the slider that we saw in spring training have been there too. So, it's just a really good 4-pitch mix. But I think from April until now, I think it's more, more poised, more calm, more focused, more awareness. For instance, the double play ball that he turned against Grisham. Now, we had that same double play ball against Pollock, his first start, and he threw it away. So I think that's a big difference right there. You can look at that and make have an antidote.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll go to Thomas Hardy.
Buddy, Austin has had a lot of success against the San Diego Padres. Do you see him not just simply holding them down and kind of dominating the games, but also getting ahead in the cat and mouse game against them hitters?
Well, yeah, anytime you're starting to face a team a number of times, it really becomes making pitches, changing speeds, moving the ball in and out, being unpredictable, all those things. Early on, I think a pitcher always has the advantage when he faces a team the first couple of times, and then that wears off, and I think it becomes, just mano-a-mano. And I think he's doing a really good job with his pitches. And again, the hitters a little bit, but they know you a lot more. And then it becomes, to your words, a cat and mouse game.
Also, to see CJ Cron click one, I know we've been talking about him. You had moved him down in the lineup, but you felt like he would get his timing back. What do you think this means to you?
Well, he's in his career, he's shown home run power. You can look up his stats, and you've seen 20 plus homers a few years, and I think that's in there. He's still a young man. He still has a powerful swing. So I think they're coming. He's just in a little bit of a lull right now. He's taking his walks, which is great. He's not expanding the zone, but he didn't really quite catch that one, and it still went out of the ballpark. So, I'm still believing that there are spurts in there of carrying the club with the long ball and slugging percentage. So hopefully tonight's a start.
Hey, last one from me. I'm talking about Gomber. He gives up the double to Caratini to open the 6th inning, and he is the guy who pitches with a lot of emotion. How did he use that to the good that inning?
Well, if you channel it the right way, I think it really keeps you focused and truly engaged with a hypersensitivity if you channel it. And I think he's been able to do that, through his last handful of starts when it does get hot and there's a little bit of a crisis. But, that's a good thing. Sometimes it can go the other way against you, but he's shown that he can use that to his advantage. And I'm okay with that. He's emotional. You can see some body action, some body movements when he's out there. He's into it, Thomas. He's into it. He's competing. He's a really, really good competitor.
Oh, I want to follow up on one thing. Umpire Doug Eddings was checking, or at least talking to him at the end of the first inning that you went out there. What was that about?
Oh, that was nothing, really. That was just, Austin uses the rosin bag, and I think he sort of flipped it on his forearm. And Doug said, don't do that anymore. Hey, put it on your hand, bounce it on your, the palm of your hand, the back of your hand, but don't bounce it on your forearm.
Is that
you've read all about the crackdowns.
Yeah.
I think Doug is just telling Austin to get out in front of it. So that was truly nothing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Patrick Saunders.
Hi, buddy. Hey, Austin came to the Rockies with the reputation of being something of a fly ball pitcher. He had 14 ground ball outs today. Is that because his changeup has been so good, or what? Do you have a reason why he's starting to get so many ground ball outs?
He's going to continue to get outs a lot of different ways, because he does throw fastballs at the top of the zone. He does throw the curveball, and that can be lifted at times. He can throw the slider. That can be lifted at times if it's not down. But I think that the ground balls tonight are the ground balls that I think that he's produced and generated over the last number of starts is a direct reflection of the change. I really do. So you're on point there. And also the ability to jam right-handed hitters and lefties with the fastball. I think there was at least 3 or 4 outs that he jammed right-handed hitters off their knuckles and produced grounders to the right side, to the left side. And I think he got a couple grounders to the right side off the lefties with fastballs too. So I think the fastball command, crowding guys will get the grounder. And to your point, a really good changeup will get the grounder too. So that's a really good sign. And for him, every time he does that, he puts that in the memory bank and realizes that the change is a great, great weapon for him.
And one more for me regarding Austin. When you first saw him, buddy, let's say back in spring training, did you kind of envision this is the type of pitcher that he could evolve into? Not to say that he's done yet, but did you see this potential?
Well, at first glance, I like the stuff. I said that, the first couple of weeks of spring training, I liked his mix of pitches. Now, I didn't know how he was going to put them together, right? I didn't know his, the true control and command. I didn't know his feel. I didn't know his pitching instincts. But as we went through spring training, I started gaining some confidence in those things. And then I think more importantly, through April, I learned, the student part of him, the teachability, coachability. He listens and can apply coaching. And I think that's been a huge part of, his growth. And so now I think what he's doing now, he can continue, because I think the arm action's pretty clean. He repeats his delivery. He's athletic. He's got 4 pitches. He can spin the ball. He's got a good feel for the change, and he's got conviction in his fastball. So he's got a lot going for him as far as just what the makings of a successful pitcher.
Hey, thank you, buddy.
Yep.
I got time for a few more. We'll go to Owen Perkins. Owen, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. I'm getting some feedback.
I got you fine, though.
Are you, Austin seems to be getting better and better. I don't know if that's an illusion or not, but was tonight about the best you've seen him pitch? And what's the ceiling? Can he keep getting better?
Well, I think the game in New York was outstanding. against the Mets. I think tonight's game was very comparable to that. Yeah, I think he can continue to get better. I think there's always room for improvement and really fine tune things and really get better. I think that it's in there. But those two games stand out, right? Those are outstanding, brilliantly pitched games. And he should learn from those and continue to, progress. I don't know what the ceiling is, but he's a major league starting pitcher right now. He's one of the 150 guys or so, and he's pitching at the upper end of those guys, over the last month and a half. So good for him, and keep it going, because I think that I think our guys feed off each other in that regard, and the more good guys you have, the better off your team has a chance to win.
And one more on a different topic for me. How big was it to get for Charlie to get that extra base on Trevor's fly?
That's a good gamble by Chuck, and Mac, and then Mac got the big hit behind him. But those are the things you do that you talk about these things pre-series. You talk about in spring training. And Grissom's a really good defender. He had to go back on the ball, but he got behind it. Just the throw was a little bit offline, but I think it was a gamble worth taking to get into scoring position in a close game like that. So it was a calculated risk, and we knew that it was going to be close, but the throw was just enough offline where Tatis couldn't make the thing.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Noah, go ahead.
Hey, Bud. To follow up on Owen with Charlie, he's had, I believe, an 11 or 12 game hitting streak now, and he's been getting on base close, I believe, to a 600 on base in that span. What have you seen out of him recently?
Using the whole field as evidence tonight, right? He got, he stayed in there and, fought off a fastball that looked to be inside and, got that first knock. Taking his walks, that leads to the high on base percentage. And, he's driving the ball better. There's doubles, the game that last game in Pittsburgh was a huge game for us. I thought that series, Charlie started to really swing the bat well. I think he's driving the ball better to left center. He's getting his knocks. So, Charlie does have the ability to collect hits, to collect them in bunches. We saw that last year, and we've seen it over his career. But I think, more importantly, I think that, his selectivity is in a real good spot right now.
And then lastly, with Austin Gomber, now on the year, his home ERA is below 1, but his road ERA is north of 5. What do you think he needs to change to get more of the results that he's been getting at Coors and get them out on the road?
Well, again, I think, every game's different. Every game's unique. I think, again, I don't have collectively every road start, but again, it's, what he did tonight. Look at the first pitch strike ratio. Look at the first 2 out of 3 pitches. I bet, those were well over, probably close to 70% strikes the first 3 pitches during that bat. I think he's got to do more of that on the road. I think he's got to throw his changeup with quality like he did tonight, like he did in New York. He's got. I guess plain and simply, he's got to. The pitching principles probably have to come into play a little bit more.